Hey everyone, and welcome back to Bowl with Value. I'm Valerie Bercier, and this week we're going to go into what is the difference between tilt and rotation, and how does it affect your ball motion. Stick around and see what we have.
This brings up by 12. Pass it. Really good look.
Okay. Good. All right, we are back at Sherman Bowling Center. We're in the middle of the bowling center today, 19 and 20. It's their fresh house pattern, which is the longer, like higher volume pattern to hopefully be able to help me play a little further right. So I have my trusty Ebonite GB4 hybrid, symmetrical hybrid cover stock, really blends most patterns. It's like really, it's okay on fresh, really good in the middle, and sometimes good on the burn. So I'm gonna start with rolling it, and I'm gonna talk about my rotation. This is on my piece of tape, is on my PAP. And then I'm going to progressively tilt it more, rotate it a little bit more. I'll talk about what I see. You can see the tape on the lane. We've got another camera set up at my release. So here we go. I'm going to just line up, get lined up. I was standing on 15, kind of in my warm up. So 15, I'm looking at 8, 7, 8, 9, give or take. And I'm just going to try to roll it, not cover too many boards. So I actually kind of rotated. Oh, and I only stood on 18, so I drifted only 3 boards this time. Sometimes it's 4. So I rotated that one a little bit. It wasn't dead end over end. So that's a typical, now that I've changed my release and I've decreased my tilt significantly, not naturally, I don't know what the right word is. Like overall, generally, I've decreased my tilt, thankfully. So the tape was kind of in front of me a little bit. And so that means I did rotate it a little bit more. What does my track look like? Was a little tilty. So let me roll it, and you can see that the tape here, when I release it, is gonna be more on the side. When you're rolling it, the tape on your PAP is gonna stay on the side. So let me just line up again over here, and I'm gonna roll it as best as I can. Yeah, there we go. And I 10-pinned. So that means that it just depleted too much energy in that roll phase, kind of rolled out into the 9-pin, 6 fell in front of the 10. This is good. I'm glad it did that because yeah, there we go. There's my track. It's pretty, oh yeah, it's like right there, right next to, there's a couple flare lines that are gone. And that to me means that it caught some dry, depleted too much energy. So why would you want to roll it? You want to roll it on heavy volume patterns, fresh patterns, so that the ball can actually pick up, read the lane sooner, and have a longer hook window to get into that roll phase and deplete enough energy. And this is great. I'm gonna have to just throw a ball for this, because 19s, you know what? I'm gonna make this. I'm gonna have some redemption. I'm gonna like practically back it up. We're talking about rolling it, so I might as well just make this by rolling it into the 10-pin. Hallelujah. We're talking about changing our release. And anyway, redemption from the string pin video. If you haven't seen me miss a 10-pin, go watch that. Okay, so depleting energy. So now this one though, I needed rotation to get so rotation, right? It's gonna be, when I release it, it's gonna be in front of me, because when you're releasing it, you turn your hand to rotate it. This is rotation. And up, when your fingers are up in like that 7/8, that's tilt. So that means the tape is going to be up and unstable in front of you when you release it. So this shot here, I'm gonna increase my rotation and get the tape to be a little bit more in front of me and see what it does at the back of the pattern. Well, all the way, but toward the back of the pattern. So I'm actually gonna change. I'm gonna turn my hand a little bit so that I'm on the side of the ball. Not full on suitcase, but totally can. Same alignment. So it's right in front of me. Rotated it. So picture your vehicle tires flat on the pavement. And then you want to turn and you want your vehicle to go another way. So then you turn the tire, but the tires are still flat to the ground. That's rotation. Tilt is when you're tilt and rotation, because you can't really have, I just had this discussion with my husband, you can't really have tilt and not rotation, because it's like, you picture a Frisbee, like if you like totally spun it, like how do you then rotate it? So, so say you're tilting, rotating, and then you're up on the side of the tire. That's tilt. So you're only getting that tiny piece of the tire to create friction to read the lane. And so what does it do? It doesn't hook. It doesn't read the lane. And so that's exactly what it is. My track is right next to my thumb. And I literally just rotated my hand so that the ball and the core and the ball roll was facing the pocket, so it didn't have to do so much work to hook. And that's how you carry 10 pins sometimes. If your ball rolls too rolly and depleting too much energy into the pocket, you can just increase your rotation to get it to see the lane, the back of the pattern better. All right, so that's roll, increase rotation. Why don't we increase tilt now? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go up the side of it in my stance, and then you'll see my hand position at the bottom, and it's gonna come Frisbee right around it. I'm gonna stay in the same spot. Anybody have any predictions of what it's gonna do? Same thing, 15 with my feet, increasing tilt, AKA spin. So it was up and in front of me and super unstable. the white tape, Runaway Brooklyn. So and why was that? So we just talked about how it's not reading the lane. There's less of the surface of the ball touching the lane. So that means that there's less energy depletion, more energy conservation. And so yeah, there's my track right there. Whoop. So it's significantly, touch my microphone, significantly further away from the thumb. So again, using less of the circumference of the bowling ball. So what do you do with that? It forces you further left. On a fresh pattern, it can be very inconsistent. And I know this from experience because I used to struggle when I tilted it a lot on fresh patterns. Everybody else that had forward ball roll. So I'm gonna go 8 left with my feet. So I'm gonna go to 23, and I'm gonna look at 14, and I'm trying to open my angles and see what happens. And I'm gonna keep tilting it. Nice, almost 410. I was kind of warming up and practicing this earlier, and I threw one in the same spot. I got 3, 6, 10, and then I threw another one, and it was like 7, 9 almost. And so 4-pin, I guess I didn't move enough, and there you go. So that's, again, the PAP, the white tape, was up and very unstable going into the, like an unstable roll, like it was just spinning around, right? Oh, and I don't have a reset button. So here we go. Let me just try to make this. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. I don't usually hook at those, and I don't have my plastic ball here. So anyway, so I'll move further left, and maybe sniff the pocket. But because the ball is storing so much energy, the hook window is shorter. It's like turning on a dime. and it's violent. So in terms of controllability, especially on a fresh pattern, it's not a good idea. In like, out of 100% of patterns that you're gonna bowl on, maybe 10% of them are gonna require a higher tilt. Most of them, 90% of them, will require more roll or maybe more rotation. Like if it's burnt up in the fronts and you need to get the ball to not deplete so much energy, then maybe spin it a little bit. But like, it's still gonna create a quicker response, and that's not good to create the proper entry angle into the pocket. So let me just move 2 off that 4-pin and 2 and 1. So I'm gonna look at 15 here, standing 25, looking at 15. I really hope this helps. And if you want to go back to my tilt, how I decrease my tilt video, I do some 1-steps, I do some drills, and I walk through the process that it took me to help get from here to more, 5 o'clock, even 4 o'clock on the clock. I'm talking about my fingers, right? Like just straight up, and 1-steps, no steps, and just really try to like roll it so that I could get my track higher and not have to cover so many boards or not use such a big ball, meaning like a monster ball that's going to deplete energy, no matter, like even if you spin it, So there it is. I really hope this is helpful for you in explaining tilt. So again, tilt is the tire on the side of the tire. You're not using very much of it, right? And then rotation is when you're just turning the tire, going left or right, period. So I hope that was helpful for you. I can tell you that it's been incredibly helpful for me to work on this, learn it, apply it, and explain it to you. So if you haven't already, please like and subscribe and leave us a comment. Let us know if there is anything you'd like to see within the brands of Brunswick, either compared or reviewed, or stuff like this, skills and drills that you'd like to see on the channel, because we look at those comments and we do this every week.